It's finally Friday, November 18th, 2022. This Day Weather Podcast being brought to you by Cowboy State Daily. Check them out at cowboystatedaily.com or on their Facebook page. Also brought to you by Chug Water Chili. How about chili for breakfast? Why not? So cold. You should have chili 3 meals of the day. When it's this cold, use Chug Water down at checkout for 20% off. Well, the Arctic air is going to slowly leave, but it's still going to be cold. Even though temperatures are going to moderate over the next few days, it's going to be a slow process, and it's not going to get temperatures back to average near the 30-year average, so probably Monday or Tuesday. So the temperatures are going to slowly moderate. There'll be some breezy areas, which will cause cold wind chills and some blowing snow. Many areas are well below zero this morning. I think when it's all said and done, we'll probably have had a few records tied or broken. Now, travel weather is looking okay. Not great, not perfect, but okay. Basically this weekend through Tuesday, the bigger problems we'll have for travel is just because of the recent snow. But once that gets compacted and settled down a little bit, and we don't have as much blowing and drifting, I think we'll be okay. We do have a system Tuesday night, Wednesday, that's going to come off the Pacific. We need to watch it. It will bring a chance of mountain snow and maybe some snow to the plains. We don't have really high confidence in this system yet, so we'll keep an eye on it. The bigger problems for travel for Thanksgiving week may be in the Great Lakes and the northeastern part of the United States, and I'll show you that. Satellite photo this morning, boy, you can really see the delineation here in the clouds of where the jet stream is diving and where the Arctic air is coming in. You see all these patches of blue, low stratus clouds as that Arctic air is just pouring into the nation, even getting back into the Pacific Northwest. Continued very cold into parts of the Pacific Northwest and the Great Basin as the jet stream, you can see it right here from those high level clouds, just taking a really big dip south. Now, for those of you that have been wondering about Buffalo, we talked about the Buffalo lake effect snows. Here's a radar this morning, just taken out of the Buffalo radar. Notice Buffalo proper is just at the moment missing the heavy snow bands, but two things to point out. It's hard to see. This is Orchard Park. That's where the Buffalo Bills Stadium is. Of course, they've now moved it to Detroit. Lightning strikes, so you can see that very energetic, very moist conditions setting up with the right lake temperatures, the Arctic air going overhead, and most importantly, this is something I left out yesterday. The wind direction is really important. When the wind is from the west-southwest coming off of Lake Erie, it's hitting the higher ground, the higher terrain on the shore of the lake, and that causes a lifting situation, and that lift helps exacerbate the problem, making these snow squalls even heavier. These snow squalls will produce 3 to 4 inches of snow as each snow squall moves through. So it is happening there in the Great Lakes, and it's just not Buffalo, but it's up into Watertown. It's up into anywhere on the downwind side of the lakes. Look at Lake Michigan. Look at the lake effect snow getting into western and southern Michigan, getting up into Ontario here, off of Lake Superior as well. So the entire lakes region experiencing a major lake effect snow event. And this is why Arctic air pouring over those warmer lakes right now. And this is the time of year when you get these big snow events, because as the season goes on, and as the lake temperatures get colder, and as you get more ice on the lakes, the lake effect snows are still there, but they're not as intense. It's the early part of the season where they can be really large. And look at the nation this morning. Very cold relative to the 30-year averages. And our friends in Europe, well, they're sharing in the misery. Cold weather is invading Europe, and this is the temperature anomaly by Sunday. They're across most of Central and Eastern Europe, and the 10-day temperature forecast over there is colder than normal for Central Europe, while Eastern Europe here getting a little bit of relief from the cold, but that may be making the news here in the coming week or so as the colder weather across the Northern Hemisphere picks up. But here's the help. The help with the temperatures is because of a westerly flow of air coming off the Pacific. This is by Monday. So a west to east flow with the jet stream usually means near average temperatures, as you have that what we call a zonal flow, west to east. So instead of the air coming out of Canada, like we're doing right now, Pacific air. So you change air masses, you're going to change the weather. And this is what the temperature anomaly looks like by next Tuesday at noon Tuesday. So you can see we get a bit of a Chinook effect, and we do see temperatures moderating in this part of the country here. West of the divide, cold air is getting trapped in the valleys. So temperatures are going to stay west of the divide, relative to average, still a little bit colder than normal. Then we've got this next system coming in Tuesday night and Wednesday. It looks like a rather quick-moving Pacific front, but it will probably produce snow and rain in the Pacific Northwest, some snow for the central and northern Rockies, and we may end up seeing some snow on the plains. Again, I'm going to put a question mark here just because we're going to have more info on this for you on Monday. But if we're going to have a travel concern, it's going to be in that Tuesday night, Wednesday timeframe, so stay tuned. Now later, this is by Thanksgiving night into Friday morning, that system that's coming through here may end up evolving into a more organized storm into the Midwest. And if you just look at where the potential path of the storm could go, which is this way, we've got Chicago, we've got Detroit, we've got Cleveland, we got Cincinnati, we got a lot of major airports in line with this storm. So late next week and next weekend, if you're flying somewhere, we need to watch this system for possible travel delays in the upper Midwest, and eventually this storm could move up into New England and along the northeast coast by next weekend. So there's a lot of weather going on, but you notice this high coming in behind it. So if we do have that front effect as late Tuesday night and Wednesday, Thursday into Friday and the weekend, we'll probably see a fair dry weather pattern move in to this part of the country. You can see the potential for the problems here in this part of the country by next weekend with a fair amount of heavy precipitation, and some of that's going to be ice and snow. A quick update on La Nina. This is the latest long-range modeling from the European model, and what it's showing is what we've been hinting at and hoping for, keeping our fingers crossed, that the sea surface temperature anomaly will go from a negative to a positive phase and get rid of this La Nina that we're in. And so this is another piece of data which continues to suggest that indeed the La Nina is going to be fading, keeping our fingers crossed that happens. Have yourself a good weekend. Stay warm. We'll see you on Monday.